Hi, it's DeAngelo. In this series of free videos, I'm going to share the most important lessons that I've learned about how to succeed at attracting women. In this first video, we're going to discover the mindset for creating attraction. In the next videos in the series, we'll learn the specific steps to triggering attraction with a woman, how to meet women, how to get women to go on dates with you, what to talk about, and what to do to really amplify the chemistry and the sexual connection. Now, most men never achieve the success that they want with women in dating. And this is tragic because not feeling confident around women leads to a lot of other challenges in life and an overall feeling of low self-esteem. Now, our genetic wiring tells us that in order to be successful in life as men, we must survive and we must reproduce. In a way, this is really the fundamental definition of success. If we don't learn the skill of attracting women, then our success is completely dependent on luck. And luck isn't where you want to be placing your bets in life. Now, when I was younger, I had no success with women. Okay, girls never gave me notes or sent me messages. I never had a girlfriend in school at all. And worse, over time, I started to actually believe that I'm just one of those guys that's not attractive to women. And later, as my life went on, this became a huge distraction. Because behind everything that I was doing, everything I was doing in my life, there was a secret fear and a secret desire. I had a deep insecurity that was really fueling all of my goals, all my thoughts, all my actions. I was living one life, but I was wishing that I was living another. Finally, in my later 20s, I decided to do something about it. Now, I'll tell you the whole story in one of the future videos in this series. But I finally decided to get this part of my life handled. Okay? And it was very hit and miss at first. I was trying lots of different things. I was reading books, going to seminars. I really didn't like the manipulative tactics that a lot of people taught. I didn't like the way that they felt, and I knew that there must be a better way. So I started studying and hanging out with guys who were naturally successful with women, guys that we might call naturals. I made friends with a computer geek who met a lot of women online. I made a good friend who was an ex-biker. I met a guy who was a stockbroker who lived next door to me that was just amazing with women. And when I paid careful attention to what these guys were doing, I realized something shocking. These guys were doing things that I never would have thought of in a million years. Okay, one friend of mine, he would walk up to a woman, start talking to her, pull out his mobile and get her number within a couple of minutes of meeting her. Another guy, my computer geek friend, I'd go over to his house and he would show me his inbox. It was full of dozens of messages from attractive women. He would get dozens of messages per week with women contacting him. Another friend of mine would go out and basically every time he'd go out, he'd go home with a different woman that he would meet. Now, as I watched this, I had to understand what was going on. Okay, I had to crack the code. So I started asking them why they were successful. I asked them what they believed. I asked them how they thought about women. And I got down to the secret psychology behind what worked. Each of these guys used a different set of tactics, but they all had a similar strategy. And what they had in common was that they had taken control of the dynamic. They'd taken control of the interaction between them and a woman. These guys weren't leaving it to chance. Okay? Each of them had a system that worked, and each had a system that worked for them, okay, for their individual personality. Now, the good news that I learned was that attracting women, it was a skill. It was something that I could learn. And the great news that I learned was that a man can completely change his attractiveness and completely change his success with women. And attractiveness is not just based on looks or money or being tall. Okay? A guy that's of average height and average success like I was could do just as well with women. And that was a revelation to me. And I also discovered something that we're going to discuss in these videos. I discovered that attraction is mostly about communication. And if you can master your communication with a woman, then you can learn to trigger and amplify attraction. So let's talk about a couple of important attraction mindsets. Okay, so attraction mindset number one is that attraction isn't a choice. Okay? Women don't choose who they're attracted to. Okay? Think about that for a moment. Women don't choose who they feel attracted to. They can't go inside their minds and say, you know, I want to feel attracted to that guy. But men behave as if women are choosing who they feel attracted to. Okay? But the bottom line is you can't convince a woman to feel attracted to you. It can only be triggered. Now, in our second video, we're going to go into the science of triggering it, but for now, we need to remember that attraction isn't a choice. Attraction mindset number 2 is that attraction is a skill. Okay? So our mindsets and our beliefs, these determine what we think, they determine what we feel and how we act. If you have the wrong mindsets, okay, you won't even try. So you may have heard this term learned helplessness. Okay, it's a term from psychology. And maybe you've heard the story about how they train elephants. Right? When the elephant's a little baby, they take a big chain and they lock it to the baby elephant's leg and they stake it into the ground. And the baby elephant tries to get away, but it can't because it's locked with a big, heavy chain. So as the elephant grows up, okay, they can make the chain lighter and lighter until you can have an adult elephant, right, a giant elephant that weighs several tons, and all they have to do is tie a little rope around its leg, and it thinks that it's trapped, okay, because it's learned helplessness. Well, that's the way that a lot of us approach women. Okay? We have learned when we were younger that we couldn't do it, and that learning becomes a belief, it becomes a mindset, and it acts as the chain around our thinking and around our behavior. The reality is it's just a little rope and we can reach down and we can untie it. But the mindset here we have to learn is that attraction is a skill. Okay? This is a skill and it's something that we can learn. Okay? So attraction is a skill and it's something that you can learn. And by the way, after I learned the skill of creating attraction, I would create an online dating profile and just start getting responses every day. I would go out with friends to a club and I'd come home with 4 or 5 phone numbers from really attractive women. And then I'd just have dates all week, right? As many as I wanted. And I dated models and actresses and dancers and doctors and fitness teachers and musicians and philosophers. And in many cases, they reached out and contacted me first. Now, of course, as this was happening, my guy friends around me, they started to notice. They started to ask me what I was doing. So I started teaching them what I learned. And I created a set of simple mindsets and techniques. And what was amazing was they worked consistently, not just for me, but also for my guy friends. Okay, after seeing this success, I then went and wrote a book. You've probably heard of it. It's called Double Your Dating. And the rest, as they say, is history. Now, literally millions of men around the world have learned from me through my websites, my newsletters, my videos. It's really turned into something big. But even more importantly, I met my total 10 partner. Okay, so the story has a really great ending for me. I met a woman that was beyond what I thought was possible. Okay, as a match to me, she was, leaps and bounds beyond anyone I had ever met. She was really a perfect match and a best friend, right? And she's just totally my type. We got married, now I have a family, and I'm more fulfilled and happy in my life than ever before. And what I learned from this is each of us, we want to find our mate. We want to find our partner, and we want to have a lot of fun in the process when we're dating. Okay? So we want to find our mate, we want to have a lot of fun in the process, and in order to do that, we must understand dating and attraction. And I'm going to show you how to do this for yourself. And in our next free video, you're going to learn the secret to triggering attraction with a woman that you've met in person, online, or anywhere for that matter. You're going to learn the psychology and the behavioral principles of attraction. You're going to learn what to do when you first meet a woman to trigger attraction. You're going to learn how to impress a woman that you're interacting with. This one's very counterintuitive. You're going to learn how to keep your power so you don't feel weak and insecure around women, and you're going to learn much, much more. Okay, so stay tuned for that next video, and I look forward to showing you how to meet more women and create more attraction.